Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Jackie, who is a family nurse practitioner. She was working primary care and then did some RN contract work before diving into her practice full-time in May. Currently, she owns and operates a wellness practice where she focuses on aesthetics, weight loss, and hormone replacement therapy. She's needing assistance scaling her business to the next level. She is needing help navigating the aspects of accelerated business growth so she can reach the next level of entrepreneurism and financial freedom. Hey, Jackie, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for hopping on this call. I really appreciate it. I think it's going to be a really fun episode. We don't have a whole lot of NPs that are needing assistance with scaling, so thanks.
Yeah, no worry. I'm excited to be here and kind of share my story.
Cool. So let's just jump right into it. So I guess you were working some primary care, and then you did some RN travel work, I guess, and then dove into your practice recently, yeah?
Yeah, so I left primary care in October of last year, and then I pretty much went and did some contract work for 6 months and like doubling my income as an MP, just doing the nurse contract work. So I focused on, saving up money so I can reinvest into the business. And then I also worked my business at the same time.
Gotcha. Cool. So you were just doing some travel work, making that killer money. It was like $100 an hour or something crazy.
Yeah, I was making like 110 an hour. So that was more than double what I was making as an MP.
Yeah, I know, that's insane. Oh, cool. Okay. So you were able to save up some money and then really invest it back in your practice. I know you started this originally, about a year ago or so?
Yeah. So about a year ago, actually in December, I went into my brick and mortar, but I've been doing aesthetics on the side of my of working primary care going on 3 years.
Gotcha. So you've been kind of running your own little business for 3 years, but didn't really start the real business till December last year. So about a year ago.
Yeah, I was only doing like maybe 6 hours a week for that time frame up until this last December.
All right. And so how's business been since you were dove into it full time?
It's been amazing. Scary, but I mean, it takes a lot of work, a lot of just, trying to hustle. So beginning of this year, I was probably, I think, doing about 20,000, and then it steadily like went up every month.
Yep.
So like January, 20,000, February, 30,000, and so on. And then once I left the bedside and focused primarily just on my clinic, I hit 60,000 a month, and then I hit 70,000 a month. And then I've been routinely doing like 85,000 a month. And, and that was with like a lot of weight loss patients, hormone therapy, and my aesthetics.
Gotcha. So once you dove into it full time yourself, I mean, it sounds like you've really grown a lot.
Yeah. So I'm seeing on average, probably about like 90 to 100 patients a week.
Wow. Good for you.
But I work a lot, so it's not sustainable. I have 4 kids. I have a husband and I want to stay married. So, it's kind of, I'm getting to that point where I need a hire to scale. Right. And, I love my weight loss patients and stuff like that, but I've spent a lot of money on education for aesthetics. And that's where I want to grow that as well.
Gotcha. So basically you are running into a lot of good problems.
Yeah, no, I'm super blessed. I'm very, very blessed for sure. Yeah.
So I know you need some help basically to the next level, right?
Yes, please help me.
Okay. So let's talk about, let's just kind of start from the foundation, just the base here. Let's just go over some numbers and whatnot. So first off, how many hours a week are you working doing this right now?
I was really trying not to work Mondays, but I have been traveling some for some trainings, like advanced trainings as a aesthetic provider. So I've been having to like offset my schedule. But right now I'm seeing patients from like 8 to 5:30 p.m. And usually it's like Tuesday through Friday and then like a half shift on Saturday sometimes. So I work a lot.
Yeah. So, and then on top of the administrative work and whatnot as well. So you're probably pulling at least 50 hours a week, at least.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
working a lot. And I do have like a part-time front desk. I do have another MA slash front. So I have like two part-time MA slash front desk people that help me with like phones and stuff like that and scheduling. But gosh, reviewing labs, all that kind of stuff. It takes a lot. Like I woke up at 4:30 this morning to like start
Mhm.
reviewing labs that I had from last week.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work. It's not for the faint of heart for sure.
Yeah. So let's first talk about how we're going to trim the fat here in terms of outsourcing the busy work first. So, you have a couple MAs, you got front office. How much time are you spending a week on just this busy nonsense work? The $100 question work, stupid work.
Probably a lot, but like right now we're in that phase of I'm training two nurses to help me inject and I'm trying to automate things. So like I just paid into a system called Repeat MD and they send out texts and reminders and stuff like that. So we have that going on. And then I have another system called Weave, which is a phone system because I have patients contacting me from like on three different areas. So like whether it's Facebook or Instagram or a cell phone, and so we're just trying to streamline processes right now.
Okay. So you're doing the right things. But what about some other busy work that you could have other people do? I mean, paying bills, what are some other tasks that you find that are just time sinks? So like right now, I want you to like look back at your last week, for example, and be like, God, I spent so much time doing that.
So I think it's probably labs suck. Like labs takes a long time, but it's the thing, like I don't feel like I can delegate that to anybody,
Well,
obviously.
what do you mean by lab? Just lab review, just reviewing the labs?
Yeah, like reviewing the labs. And I do sometimes like not have, somebody to draw labs. So I do draw my own labs sometimes.
That stuff you shouldn't be
And
yeah, you shouldn't be drawing
yeah,
your own blood work at this point.
right. I can also delegate follow up, for a weight loss to a nurse, like because I feel like we can work off of a algorithm and like
Absolutely.
a protocols.
Yep.
So I think, hey, if this patient's stalling, the nurse can see that patient and then go off the protocol. Okay, we're going to set that patient up as long as they're not nauseous and having all these side effects.
Correct. Right. Exactly. You have a standing order, kind of like what we have in like an
Right.
IV course or whatever. Just have a standing order. If patient is stalling
Yeah.
on weight, they can increase semaglutide by up to 2.5 milligrams or whatever. Right. I
Right.
mean, an
Right.
RN can do that. There's nothing involved with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I do feel like my patients come to me because they come for me. So it's really hard like right now when I'm going to try to hire, but like, these patients are so used to seeing me and getting
Well,
that kind of care.
listen. You set up that expectation. Now it's
Yes.
time to change that expectation. Okay.
Right.
It's difficult. It's stressful. There will be some patients that you might lose, but every single new patient that you get won't know any different.
Right. Of
So
course. Yeah.
just set it up. I mean, just be done with it. Okay. Like, of course, you're always going to have some patients that are going to want to see you fine. You know what I mean? The ones that are a little bit more, they need their handheld a little bit more and that kind of stuff, just keep those people, but try to delegate as much as you can to the RN in terms of that goes. But like this lab review, you can have your medical assistant or your RN take a look at it. I mean, I don't understand what you're doing here. Like, I don't review my labs at my mental health practice until literally right before the appointment.
Right. Right.
So what are you doing?
So I'm sending them out an email of recommendations. So I think there's a lot of busy work that I do that I probably don't even charge the patient for.
Okay, so you draw these people's labs and then you email them recommendations. This is after the initial appointment.
Yes.
Why not just follow up with them on the next appointment instead of just wasting your time emailing people?
I know I probably do a lot for free. So
Yeah.
I should be having them come in for an appointment and like sending their medicine because so they pay me $199 for their lab work and their initial consult.
As I recommend in all the courses, why not do the blood work first? That way you can review it during the initial time. This is going to save you a hell of a lot of time.
Right. I mean that those are things that I can definitely start implementing for sure. It's just hard right now because we're working out of such a small space and it's just, and I don't have I need a hire. more consistent front desk / MA.
Oh,
Because so my
100%. Yeah. And then like, just real basic lab review. You can have your medical assistant look at the lab work and, they can just be like, hey, if there's anything that's in red, that's out of range or whatever, this is what I'm looking for, this, and that. And then you just review it right before the appointment.
right.
Right. So just little tweaks like this will save you a lot of time that won't even require you having to hire anyone. Do the blood work before you even ever see the patient. That way you can review it at the time of the initial appointment.
Okay, that makes sense. It's probably going to be a good.
Right. So there's no more of this waking up at 4:30 emailing people. My Lord.
Yeah, I'm a morning person, so it doesn't really bother me, but
Sure.
it's not the best, habit for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, though, so that'd be a little something. That's something little you can do. But yeah, you need to have at least one full-time employee there at this point.
Okay. And so it's just hard because I've been in this growing phase where I just cash flow everything. And I just read a book. It's called Profit First.
Yep. Good book.
Right. And I really, really want to start concentrate on like paying myself. But again, like I've been in this whole like, okay, let's grow, let's pay off, let's pay cash for things. Because I really didn't want any debt and stuff like that. And that's pretty much like I have devices that I paid cash for. But it's interesting because it's like I don't have the space to even utilize them to have somebody to operate it. So I'm stuck right there.
Right. All right. What I would recommend is hire like a full-time medical assistant that can also double as a receptionist as well. I mean, most medical assistants are trained in the front office and the back office.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I utilize my medical assistants. Like that's all I hire. I don't hire a receptionist. I hire a medical assistant.
I had hired somebody that I thought was a medical assistant, and she turns out that she was not. She was trained as a medical assistant, but not like in an urgent care. She was trained, but she wasn't like a certified medical assistant.
Well, in your state, you're in Texas, right?
I am.
So do they need to be certified in Texas? I mean, I know in a lot of states they don't. Who cares if they are or not?
I don't think so. That's all like other stuff that I have to look into for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If they don't need to be certified, don't worry about it. I don't think a single one of my medical assistants are certified at my men's health practice, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that work, like malpractice and stuff, in your opinion?
Well, they're working under me. So, I mean, whenever anything they mess up, I'm still going to be liable. I mean, they're an employee.
Okay. I was just, it's just like you kind of want to make sure everything's done correctly and stuff. That kind of secondary.
This is the thing about a medical assistant, okay? They shouldn't be doing anything that risks any kind of liability.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Anyways, like, I mean, giving someone an injection, I mean, come on, what's the worst going to happen with that? Like those things, they shouldn't be doing anything. I mean, vital signs, basic office stuff. I mean, there should be no risk pretty much. So I don't really worry about that. They're not an RN, doing Botox injections. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I would definitely, like I said, you definitely need a full-timer at this point. I wouldn't necessarily call them an office manager yet, but start training them to be your office manager, the person who orders supplies, who does all this little busy nitpicky crap.
Okay.
I haven't ordered supplies at my men's health practice in 2 years. I don't even think I can even remember how to do it.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah.
You as a business owner at first, a practice owner, you're doing everything right. I mean, I used to do everything myself too, but at this point, you should be having medical assistants be ordering the supplies for you, sending the scripts to the compounding pharmacies, doing all of that stuff. I don't do any of that anymore. Okay. But you got to make sure you get someone that you trust. And so that trust will be built, over 3 to 6 months, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Handing over that trust to an employee can be difficult at first for a practice owner. But I mean, if you want to scale its business, you're going to have to. There's just no way around it.
Right. I'm really trying to learn how to delegate things for sure.
Well, that's what you're paying people for, have them do it.
Now, what do you think? Because I have a friend that's an RN and I'm training her in injectables, but she's been helping me with some of the business aspect and kind of figuring that stuff out. What's your opinion on hiring like an RN as like an office, like a clinical office manager, and then still have them do like, could I hire them as a W-2 and then pay them like bonus based on their injectable?
Sure, but it's going to be expensive compared to a medical assistant that could do the same thing.
So you would hire a medical assistant as an office manager?
It's going to be half the cost.
Right.
I mean, you pay a medical assistant $20-$25 an hour, they're going to be happy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But you're going to have to pay that RN, what, 40 at least?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like in the aesthetic realm, from what I've seen, again, I don't have any nursing staff right now injecting, but from what I've seen is that businesses pay, their nurses a production-based bonus.
Yes, and you should.
Right. So, but that's some practices, that's all that they pay their nurses. So like 12%, et cetera. And it's on a tiered structure. So if they bring in like 20,000, they pay them 12%. And then if they bring in like 20 to 40,000, they pay X amount on that, et cetera.
But that's for a clinical RN doing the clinical work, right?
Right, right,
Right.
right.
So how
So
does that work as, that being an office manager as well,
let's say an RN, I would pay them percentage or, et cetera. Uh-huh.
I was going to say, I think you're being too generous.
I probably am to do the numbers. So I hired a business consultant. I'm still trying to figure out things. So, when you're like, because I'm trying to scale the business, like I'm having to do like standard operating procedures. I'm having to do a lot of the paperwork. So like a handbook and all that kind of stuff. So that's all things I'm trying to work on right now before I do hire.
Right, which is good. I mean, just make sure that it's there for, actual practical use, not just to have. I mean, a lot of times these standard operating procedures are put on a shelf and they're never open. So, like, just make sure that this
Right.
person you're paying to do this is actually making something for you that's actually going to be used.
Right. Because I've gone through it and like I'm kind of editing and stuff like that. So it has like all of the procedures that we do in the clinic. So
Okay, good.
whether it's P or Botox or dermal fillers, PDO threads, everything. So everything's in there.
Okay, good. So in terms of an office manager, medical assistant, RN, whatever you want to call it, okay, I would hire someone like that. I would be cautious about hiring an RN to do it because it's going to be expensive and you'll get the same kind of work with a medical assistant. I mean, you don't need an RN to order supplies for you.
So how
So
much are you paying if you don't mind me asking, how much are you paying your?
my medical assistant, my lead medical assistant, he's also the office manager. He makes about $25 an hour.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, it's damn good money for a medical assistant.
Right.
And so he works his ass off for me. You know what I mean? He's loyal. He's trustworthy. I don't mind paying him $25. I also give him $1,000 bonuses here and there too, just as a thank you. You know what I mean? I don't think I'd hire an RN. I think it'd be expensive unnecessarily. So
Okay.
yeah. Utilize the RNs for the clinical component kind of stuff.
Now, being that I know you have, two different locations, does that one person float to both locations or do they purchase for both locations?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to open up two locations, I'd probably have that person just manage both. I don't think you need to have two separate people there.
Okay.
Not now, maybe later, but not right now.
Okay.
Maybe a year or two from now, as the other practice grows, then sure, then I would. So, anyways, you really need an office manager, lead MA kind of person to start offloading a lot of this busy work from you. I think once you start offloading a lot of that busy business kind of stuff, you're going to have so much more free time. So, I would make that a priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, that sounds good.
In terms of the numbers go, so I know you said, I guess last month was your best month.
Yes. In my Square account, I hit 120,000
Yeah.
over the whole month. But like, no, I do like full face facial balancing injectable work. So when I see a patient for that, that's about like a $2,000 service, so there are like high ticket services that I do for my patients.
Well, how much was the revenue the month before?
So before I was at 95,000.
Wow. So what was the big thing last month then that generated, 25, 30 more $1,000 in revenue?
So actually, I think I had a lot more advanced procedures for aesthetics. I've really grown in the last year as an aesthetic provider, but I've invested a lot of money in my education.
Right.
So like in the last month, I've gone to big conferences, actually 3, and each one I go to is 5,000. So
Yeah.
I invest a lot of money in trainings and stuff like that because it's, to me, it's important. I've gone to a cadaver lab, I've done a master class, all that kind of stuff. So
Sure. And so that's where you want your focus to be is more of the aesthetics.
yes, because I a 45-minute procedure, I can make $1,800 to $2,200.
Well, how much do you actually make?
So, I mean, I buy my product in bulk. So if I use, one product, my cost on it is like $140 a syringe, and I use 3 syringes on that patient.
Yeah. So the
So
margin's pretty good.
yeah, in aesthetics, like, a lot of money comes in, but a lot of money goes out.
Right.
So,
right,
when
right,
you're
right.
buying product, that's like $24,000 at a time.
So with that said, do you have any idea what your margin is? How much are you actually making? $120,000 sounds great, but I mean, how much of that was actually profit?
My business person says my margin is like 60%. It's higher than what most aesthetic practices are. But
Yeah.
I've been really smart in how I purchase things and stuff like that.
Right. Well, 40 to 60% seems to be about average for most of these niche practices, regardless of what it is that you do. So
Okay.
you're right. Yeah. So you're right there. You're on the higher end.
Yeah.
Now, that's really good, but you are running this thing. And so when you start beginning outsourcing more work to other people, your expenses are going to go up.
Right, of course.
So yeah, so that margin is going to go down. So you just want to make sure that you're going to be okay with that, but you're going to get back time. So there's a trade-off. But another thing as well is that you're not going to be spending a lot of time on other busy work And so you might be able to focus more on doing these advanced procedures and your income actually might go up. So it's going to be one of those things where your income might go up and you might get more time, or your income will go down, but you'll get a little bit more time because you're delegating work to others. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You're not going to really know until you do it.
Right. My goal is to, just scale, like be able to have other people do procedures for me, and
Right.
obviously my income's going to go down, but it would free up my time, and
Correct.
but then in addition to that, like we have so many wellness clients. My goal is to start converting them into aesthetic patients.
Well, I think the first thing you can do now is if you want to, what service do you want to delegate out to another nurse practitioner at this point? Like,
Weight
so
loss.
then you might want to maybe post an ad for a PRN part-time nurse practitioner at this point and have them take over the weight loss arm of your practice and just pay them a straight production kind of thing, pay them per visit.
How would you do that?
Well, don't pay them a percentage, just pay them a flat rate. Because the thing
Okay.
with, the weight, I'm assuming you're following the model, right? With the weight loss, you're doing the monthly subscription and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
Right. Okay. So then you don't want to pay them a percentage because you're making money monthly. The nurse practitioner should only be compensated for the time they spend with the patient, themselves. So just pay them a flat rate per visit. And so, like I said before, I pay my nurse practitioners at my men's health practice $100 per new patient visit and then $50 per follow-up.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I pay them, which is great money for them because it comes out to, anywhere between $100 to $200 an hour, depending on how efficient they are, which is great
wow.
money for an NP, right?
Yeah.
And
Now, what happens if that day is kind of slow?
they're only there if there's patients scheduled. I mean, I'm only paying them production.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not sitting there twiddling their thumbs all day long. Like they give me their availability. I'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon from 4 to 6. Like that's the only availability. I mean, that's it. So we just schedule patients during those times.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they come in, they see the patients, and then at the end of the month, we tally it all up and issue them a 1099, just issue them a check.
Do you have them on like a contract for that, or how does
Yes.
that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a basic 1099 contract. Email me after this and I'll shoot you over what I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you think I could use that same kind of contract for like the nurse, like the nurse
100%.
injectors?
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have to just change, what their clinical duties are in the contract, but it's just a standard 1099 contract.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and the other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. That's another thing that I would do, as I would really maybe be focusing on hiring another NP right now to start doing the weight loss for you. And then that way you're not spending time doing that. And then that way that could grow. And now you have a passive income stream.
Right. No, that would be great.
I would definitely make that a priority as well. And then also you said you're going to hire an RN to start doing some of the procedures for you too. So, I mean, it sounds like you're doing the right things to grow this thing. I mean, the whole goal is to have this thing work for you, right?
Yes. I mean, that's, when I look at people, how they like value practice and stuff, I'm just trying to make it where like the business doesn't rely on me.
Right.
So I think that's the goal, where if I go on vacation, like I'm not losing revenue because I'm on vacation. That
Correct.
makes sense.
That absolutely makes sense. And the problem is with most people's practices, they go on vacation, their revenue goes to zero.
Right. Last weekend, not this past weekend, the weekend prior, I was in New York from Thursday to Monday for a training. So like I had to like adjust my schedule to, front load all my patients.
Right.
So with that said, like it kind of sucks because it's like I
Yeah.
have to adjust my schedule. I have to tell the patients like, hey, can we put you on another day? This isn't like your day that you like to come in, but so just trying to figure all that out.
Yeah, no, it definitely sucks. You have to front load and then you also have to play catch up when you get back.
Right.
That's not a business that's working for you. That's a business that you're working for.
And I'm definitely working for this business for sure.
Right. But You hiring an RN and you hiring another nurse practitioner is the first step for this thing to start working for you.
Okay.
Like, think about what's the income generation here? What are the income generating activities? Whatever those are, you need to figure out a way to delegate and outsource those so other people make you money.
Okay.
And so that's just by hiring, the RNs and the NPs. Like, I mean, you know this. So I'd say put an ad out for an NP, part-time, weight loss, production. You can do the $100 for a new visit, $50 for follow-up if you want. And just whatever works, best for you. Make sure the numbers work so you're still making a profit. And then you'll be able to get someone probably within a month.
Right. Where were you posting this kind of ad, like on Indeed or?
Just Indeed. Yep. Your mind's going to be blown when you post that. You will see how saturated our market's going to be. It's going to be real eye-opening for you. You post that ad, you will shut it off in about 3 days because you'll have 500 applications. You'll be like, geez, my Lord.
Now, do you have like whoever, you hired, do you have them sign a non-compete?
Yeah, that's in the 1099 contract I'll give you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a non-compete and it's non-solicitation clause.
Okay, nice. Yeah, because I've done research and all that kind of stuff. So it's, especially because I've built the practice, like I've built the practice, so,
right.
And it's been mainly organic marketing. I haven't paid for any, leads or lead generation or anything.
Yeah, you don't want someone stealing your business from you. Right. So, yeah, you have inside a non-solicitation clause and a non-compete clause. Non-compete clauses are rarely held up. In some states they are, but in most states they are not. But it's more or less something to just scare them not to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The non-solicitation clause, though, will prevent them from stealing the patients.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely I would make that a priority. If you do that, I think the business will start working for you, especially if you got these subscription-based models in place and whatnot. Now you'll start making this nice, consistent, steady income on a, monthly basis and not have to be doing anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in addition to like the weight loss, I do a lot of like the thyroid optimization too, which I'm kind of struggling on how to charge patients for that because I kind of lump it into whenever I do BioT. So, still trying to figure out that.
I think I would charge separately for that. I mean, if people are paying you for pellets and hormone replacement therapy, it's no sweat off your back to also, check a TSH and a T3 and a T4 to prescribe them T3 or whatever. It's not that difficult of a thing. I treat some of my men's health patients doing that. I don't charge them extra, but that's up to you.
I don't charge extra, but it's kind of like hard, like when those patients that don't do the pellet therapy, don't do the hormone management, and they just want you to manage, like bring up their, I give them the recommendation of like, hey, your vitamin D sucks. Let's make sure that you get your vitamin D nice and optimized. And then like your thyroid levels, educate them on that as well. And just trying to figure out the follow-ups for that. So.
Well, you can make that more or less a general health optimization service. You know what I mean? Like, let's optimize your numbers in general. It's nothing specific until we do the blood work and whatnot. And we're going to optimize your vitamin levels, your thyroid levels, blah, 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 blah. So you can just make that like just a basic health optimization kind of package if you want.
Okay.
See how it does. You won't know until you try it.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, overall, it's been a big blessing, like, learning from you and taking the leap for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you're killing it. Just imagine what you could do if you actually did some marketing too. You said this has all been word of mouth.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't have the space. My rooms are full. Right now we're building out, or like we're fixing up a 1,400 square foot space in one town, and then I'm purchasing another property right now, and that's going to need some improvement. But hey, we're growing, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Okay. So then, when are you planning on moving into the new space?
So the one space that's a lease space that hopefully will be done by the end of November. And the other space, I should close on it by Monday.
So basically by the end of the year, because we're recording this at the end of October. So by the end of the year, you should be moved in or close to anyways.
Yeah. So at the end of the year, I should be in one space that we're renovating. It's going to have about 5 or 6 rooms. And then the space that we're purchasing needs a renovation, and that should be moved in by, I'm thinking, early next year.
Okay, so what's your plan then on how you're going to justify it then? How are you going to grow this thing? You can't do it off word of mouth alone.
Yeah, so we're going to do some lead generation, but again, like I need to hire people to those leads. Like I have the time, I don't have the staff right now. So my whole thing is I need to hire for the lead generation. I need the space to even put those patients in a room, and and then we'll go from there.
Right. So I think that's an important lesson for anyone listening is that don't market if you can't deliver. Like
Yeah.
You're just wasting your money if you can't deliver what you're marketing on,
Those people that, that do the lead generation, it works, but like, it would be not worth it for me to do those kind of things because my rooms are full.
Right. Well, what about some other thing? I mean, instead of hiring, paying other people to be doing a lot of this marketing for you, I mean, why not? I mean, some of this stuff you could do yourself, right? I mean, what's preventing you from just calling a billboard company up and throwing a billboard up or something?
So I already am. I signed a contract for a billboard that's going to go up at the end of December.
Good.
And it's perfect for weight loss. I'm going to like new year, new you, weight loss management. So that's going to go up at the end of December. And that's right by my new location to kind of focus on that demographic. And I am going to also pay in for a local magazine.
Okay.
And I'm going to have like, I guess, a full spread. So one side is going to be an ad, and the other side I'm going to be doing kind of like a blog, kind of, like my, 1 month I'll talk about vitamin D optimization, or I'll talk about et cetera. So I really want, my goal is to position myself in our area as like a subject matter expert.
Yes.
So those patients like, hey, I saw you write about this, I want to come to your clinic. So I'm going to start doing that as well.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, you're doing it. I mean, you're doing everything right. You're really tuned into this. So no, good for you. So then end of the year tax stuff. I mean, you're killing it. You're making a lot of money. So
Very.
I hope you've been saving some for Uncle Sam.
Yeah. So I actually, right before I spoke to you, I got off the phone with my tax guy, and we are saving money for Uncle Sam. And then also, but again, like, I've spent like 200,000 just on devices this year.
Right. So you have a lot of write-offs.
I mean, yes. So we do have a lot of write-off. I am doing a lot of classes. So, just in the last month or so, just this whole year, I probably spent like $40,000 in education.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you either spend the money and improve your skills, or, Uncle Sam gets it.
Yeah. So, and that's why I told my tax guy, I was like, hey, like, I want you to let me know, like, hey, you're going to owe this much money, but if you spend it this way for the business, like, you're going to be able to write it off. So
right.
That's my goal, is to be smart with that.
Yes.
And then, just reinvested. And I talked to him because he knows about us purchasing the space and then doing the leasehold improvements and trying to figure that out.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of money going out with all this stuff, which is good. I mean, you're doing everything right. You're investing the money back in the business. This is how you grow it. So, so well done.
And then, our one lease space that we're going to be getting into at the end of the year, I already told because we're putting money into it. So I told them, I was like, hey, and the owner of the property is in California. He's an investor.
Yeah.
There's already 2 suites that are leased out, one to an OB-GYN and another one to a salon. So I told the owner, I was like, hey, I'm interested in buying it. So hopefully that will be something for next year to buy that property.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. Good for you. You're really on top of it. Well, perfect. I mean, it sounds like from a growth scaling perspective, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds like you're doing pretty much everything right here. I mean, it's just time to hire some staff and start delegating some of this busy work to other people. I think that's really going to be really the cherry on the, on the top here. I think that's exactly what you need to do because you're doing everything else right.
Okay. Well, it's very scary especially when you see a lot of money coming in and a lot of money going out.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Well, you're not in debt though, right?
No. So no, I pay cash. Like I said, I pay cash for pretty much everything. I mean, of course, like you have, like whenever you buy like a lot of product, like you have an invoice for 24,000, but I cash flow that.
Right, but you pay it off, and then you cash flow it. Right, exactly. You make income off of it. Right, you get a return on investment with it. Where else can you spend $24,000 and make $100,000 off it? You can't.
Yeah. Well, and then again, like I try to do, usually if I buy X amount in bulk, my rep will be like, well, here's 14 vials for free, and that's $14,000 right there.
No, this is all good stuff. I think you're doing everything right here. I really do. I mean, this money coming in, money coming out. I mean, that's just part of it. But you're not in debt. So like your risk here is minimum.
Right.
There's almost practically zero risk with it. You're not in debt. So what's worst case scenario is everything closes down. Shit, you got to go back to work. That's worst case scenario.
Yes. That would be so hard to swallow because it's like I put so much like sweat and tears into this.
No, I know. That's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen. Like it's just not. That's not going to happen. That's worst case. Right. Worst case for someone who took $100,000 loan out for their business, they're screwed if they have to close down. Now they're paying back the $100,000 loan. You're not in that situation.
Well, and the loan I'm taking out, right? And the loan I'm taking out through the small business, the SBA for the property. So
right. Well, that's that's an investment. I mean, even if your business closed,
Right.
you'd be able to rent that out. So it's not a big deal. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think we like touched base on a lot of it. And like I said, I've always said that I appreciate your help and stuff with everything and seeing like the forum and everybody like, we're just trying to work hard for ourselves and our families.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you guys are doing it too. Lots of people are doing it. I mean, I'm really proud to see what you've done. I mean, I know I started first talking to you over a year ago because
Uh-huh.
you're one of my first tier 4 clients with the Lead MP Inner Circle.
Yeah.
It's been great seeing you grow. It's awesome. I mean, you've done so much in just a year and a half. It's amazing. So well done. You're killing it.
Well, thank you so much. And like I said, I think we all appreciate the guidance and everything. It's been amazing.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure. Well, I'd like to end the episode with you asking me a question. Is there a question that you've ever wanted to ask me, personal or whatever?
I don't know. Just are you married? Are you like, have you involved like your spouse in the business, or are they like not part of it? Or because like I try to involve my husband in it and it's like, it has not worked out so far.
Yeah. Yes, I am married. She has no interest in it. So, they're either
Well,
interested or they're not. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like I try to include my husband in the aspect of like, helping me with the financials or helping me with this or that. And, it's just kind of like, I don't know if I should just delegate that to somebody else that's not family or, like, because I don't know, it's just hard because it's like they don't understand.
No, they don't. Unless they're a business owner themselves, they don't really understand. And it's hard to get them involved. Like you're either an entrepreneur or you're not. And most
Right.
people aren't. My wife's not. She's fairly independent. She could do her own thing, but she's perfectly content going to work and coming home.
Right. Right.
And so you either have it or you don't. And if your spouse doesn't have it, then I don't think it should be an issue to fight over or anything like that. I mean, just call it a day basically. But in terms of hiring family for your business, I usually recommend against that because it can end up causing some issues in the family. Hiring a spouse might be a little bit different because they got skin in the game as well. But like hiring like a sister or a cousin or something like that, don't do it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Just don't do it. Okay. Seriously, don't. I hired my sister and I regret it weekly. So yeah, just don't. But in terms of your spouse thing, I mean, if he knows financial stuff, I think it would be nice if he could help.
Right. We're trying to get there. Well, it's just, you don't want to put more strain on the family, on the dynamic and stuff. So just trying to figure that
Right.
out.
My opinion on that, my advice for you is I'd say don't mix it. Just keep the business and the family completely separate. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
So that's like one of the main things because it's, you want to involve them, but it's like, is it more of a headache?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be more of a headache. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will talk to you later. Keep me up to date.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Jackie. She is killing it. All right. I mean, she really is. So she started about 3 years ago, just a little part-time, little Botox aesthetics kind of thing. She would just go to patients' homes and just do it there. And then about a year ago, she actually got a brick and mortar and actually, created a real practice. And in just a year, guys, all right, she's making 6 figures a month. Now that's revenue, but her margins are 60%. So she is making very, very nice income. Listen, if she can do it, anyone else can do it. If I can do it, anybody else can do it, okay? You seriously can. You just got to follow the model and just do it, all right? She took some of the courses at first. I consulted with her a little bit, and then she just has blown up from there. And so she's in the phase now of growing and scaling the business, okay? You don't have to worry about this at first, all right? When you first start your practice, this is not something that you really, really have to worry about. Your first goal is just to get the thing up and running, get some patients to the door, start making it profitable. But after about a year or two, that's when the growth and the scaling phase should start kicking in. And the way you do this, like I've mentioned before, is you gotta delegate work to others. You have to develop some systems and you have to develop some processes, okay? That's the way you do it. And then you have to manage the money appropriately, which sounds like she is. She's reinvesting her money back into her business. She's reinvesting it back into her education, into supplies, into remodeling her practice and those sorts of things. So she's doing everything right. So be thinking about growth at about the year or two mark and make sure that the business works for you and you're not working for it. Do not become a slave to your own business, okay? It's worse than a job. So make sure it works for you. All right. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcast. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2022 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.